What is up, everybody? This is Anthony with VR 365. What is going on? Today is July 13th, and it is about 11:48 a.m. Pacific time. Yes, we're starting about 12 minutes early. This was set for 12 noon. But you know what? I jumped into F Reality at the very end of that episode, and they were just wrapping up the episode. It was just finishing up. And I thought, well, why not? Why not start our episode a little bit quicker, get it going? And, I want to have lunch, actually. Actually, a big part of it is I'm going to get hungry and I want to have lunch. So I wanted to start this early, get this show on the road, and then it'll be over and I get to lunch a little bit earlier than I would have otherwise. I did hit up a banana. And that will hold me over for a little bit. Okay, so Bob the Meth Guy in chat. You gotta love Bob the Meth Guy. His parents are fighting again. And we've got a number of people. Paradise Decay. Dude, I want to interview Paradise Decay, man. Come on, bro. Let's do it. Paradise, call me up right now, man. It's no big deal. Just hop on Skype and call me up, bro. We can get you on live. You can get on live and direct. Now, I know Paradise says that he's really shy and all these things, but there's a song by the Smiths, and I don't remember the name of the song, but I know it starts out like this. Shyness is nice, and shyness can stop you from doing all the things in life you'd like to. So if there's something you'd like to try, it's something like that, right? It goes like that. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The Smiths, y'all. The Smiths. I'm not talking about Will Smith. It's funny, actually. There's a t-shirt that is done in the Smiths logo, but it has a picture of like Will Smith and Jada Smith and all the Smiths. And it's like this teacher will piss off all the retro lovers out there. But yeah, no, I'd love to have Paradise on the show. In show notes, in news and notes, I've actually got a couple of show notes that I want to get to. So why not do it now since we're a little bit early anyway? Okay, first of all, number one, Tyler Schmitty from Rendered Reality. He's going to have his Subaru coffee mug at the ready Monday night for some late night hype on VR 365. Now, of course, things can change between now and Monday night. Maybe Schmitty won't be available. I don't know. Sometimes stuff happens, but I'm hoping to have Rendered Reality, Schmitty from Rendered Reality on the show. I think that would be a cool thing. So that could possibly happen. Let me see. Arrowin X is... Oh, yeah, the glare issue. Okay, so I guess people are really getting pissed off about me talking about glare. Yeah, it's a reality. It is a problem. All right, so anyway, Tyler from Rendered Reality, possibly on Monday night. Really looking forward to that. Okay, a couple other things. Yeah, I'm not a very good singer. Sorry. I don't think anybody from like The Voice is going to call and say, dude, you got to get on The Voice, man, because you got skills. I don't think anybody's going to be doing that. Okay, a couple other quick things I wanted to mention. Laser Rob, you can call him Laze Rob or Laser Ob. He recently donated $20 via PayPal. I really appreciate it, absolutely appreciate it. I forgot to make the little PayPal thing. Like, see, James McLaughlin, $7. I forgot to do one of those. So I've got to do that for Laser Rob because he donated $20 very recently. Really want to appreciate that. Also, I wanted to say thank you to MKH42. Recently joined the Patreon. Really appreciate that. I did not make the little recent Patreon people. I didn't do that for MKH42 either. But you know what? I'll go ahead and thank them verbally. And then we'll get that done, and on our next show, that will be on there. Okay. So I wanted to do that real quick. Okay, so one other thing I wanted to talk about real quick before we get started with today's show. This is, again, some more show notes. Okay, so I want to ask the audience out there. Person says, I'm late. Did I miss anything good? No, we just started and I'm basically just doing small talk right now. You did miss me singing. You missed me singing, like really singing, Morrissey style from the Smiths back in the days. Shyness is nice, but shyness can stop you. Yeah, okay, so I'm not actually going to sing, but I did it a little bit earlier. I can't believe it. I'm going to have to go back and watch that later. But let's see, what was I going to talk about? Okay, so everybody out there, here's the thing. I want to turn to you guys in the hopes that maybe somebody out there downloaded a particular episode of VR 365 because we have a lost episode, folks. It is lost in the ether, and I'm hoping that maybe there's one person out there that might have somehow downloaded the episode. I don't know why they would have, but who knows? Maybe they did. And maybe I can get a copy of that video file, like somebody can put it on some type of Google Drive or something. I can download it. Okay, so what episode am I talking about? I'm talking about the second episode, the second Twitch stream I ever did. The second one. I had an interview with Simplex. And that episode is gone, man. It is gone. I forgot to download it in time. And it freaking disappeared into the mist. Because this is the way Twitch does it. What Twitch does is they save your episodes for 12 days. Okay? And then after the 12 days, the episodes evaporate. They're gone. Sayonara. And so there was one day where I was looking at Twitch and it was like, that episode's going to delete in 2 days. The episode was Simplex. And I was like, okay, I better download that episode tonight. I got to remember to download that episode tonight. I completely forgot about it. And then like 3 days later, I'm like, oh, damn it. I forgot to download that interview episode with Simplex on Twitch, our second ever Twitch live stream. And so probably no one out there on the internet, probably nobody out there downloaded this in like 4K video downloader or something. I mean, I doubt it. I was hoping Simplex did, but he didn't do it, and none of his buddies did it. So I guess it's just lost to time. Oh well. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there just on the off chance that somebody out there might have that episode. If you do, hit me up at info@vrgamerankings.com, info@vrgamerankings.com. I really would appreciate that, but obviously I don't expect anything's going to happen with that. But just wanted to throw that out there any damn way. Okay, so let's get started. We do have a number of news stories to jump into, and our lead story of the day, let me go over to the webinar. Where is my webinar? And let's see, here it is. Here is the webinar. Okay, so the lead story of the day, I saw this. This is like actually, well, this was yesterday. We didn't have a show yesterday because you know what? The news was relatively light. I wasn't really feeling it about doing a show. Like I didn't have like the hype and the excitement about doing the show. The news was relatively light, and so I decided to take the night off. But anyway, so this was a story that appeared on Upload VR yesterday. CCP remains bullish on the future of VR as market hasn't reached maturity. What? CCP remains bullish? Okay, that's news to basically everyone in the video game, everyone in the VR gaming industry, because CCP Games is the exact opposite of bullish. They're bearish. That's why they backed out of VR. That's why they closed down their Atlanta-based studio. They closed down CCP Atlanta. How freaking bullish are you going to be if you close down your studio that made Spark, which is an awesome-ass game, by the way, and that game happens to be in the news as well. We'll get to that in just a moment. But how can these guys be bullish on the future of VR when they basically said, no, VR is a boat fire. We're out of here. VR sucks. We spent all this money and all this effort doing Eve Valkyrie in VR. We did Gunjack. We did Spark. We had all these teams. We were doing support. We were working on this. We're working on that. And the sales were so incredibly anemic that we were like, F this, we're out of here. And they closed down their Atlanta-based studio, and all those people had to find jobs and all this stuff. But no, CCP remains bullish. Okay, so surprisingly, earlier this week, CCP Games released the first update to Spark in quite some time. Yeah, we did have that story a couple of days ago. That was a shocker because out of nowhere, they had an update for Spark. Now, I have a theory on why all of this is happening. We'll get to that in just a second. But they did basically Upload VR, reached out to CCP Games for a comment, and this is the comment they got from a company's representative. Okay, so the comment is, we're continuing to invest the revenue we receive for Spark back into the game so as to support its dedicated and passionate player base. Moreover, CCP remains bullish about the future potential of VR and its long-term appeal, as the VR market still has some way to go before it reaches maturity. VR is fundamentally a brand new medium, and we're still in the very early stages of its life. Yeah, but you guys pulled the plug, man. We're in the early stages of its life, but you guys freaking pulled the plug, and now you're going to say you remain bullish. Okay, well, anyways, so they're reinvesting the money that they receive for Spark, which is just coming in barrelfuls, wheelbarrows of cash is just rolling in, because Spark is just that dope and it's just that hype. I actually really like Spark. Like, I really do like Spark, but I don't know that there's a lot of revenue that's pouring in, but oh well, whatever they want to say here. And they have a dedicated and passionate player base, which that's kind of amazing considering when you think about multiplayer type games and you think about how quick the player base evaporates out of thin air. The player base just freaking dissipates and evaporates. Yet, all these years later, they've got a passionate player base for a game that really hasn't been supported. That actually tells you a lot about Spark as a game. It is a high quality game. But yeah, they're saying they remain bullish, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so what is going on here? Well, here's what I believe is going on. So I believe that CCP Games, they are aware of the fact that the Oculus Quest is selling incredibly well. Like, the Oculus Quest has exceeded all expectations, all of Facebook's internal expectations. This is part of another story that I forgot to mention the other day when Facebook was saying that, we're starting this next era of VR, that the release of the Oculus Quest has ended this first era, and now we're starting this next era of VR. And I believe in that same story, they were talking about how the Quest, the sales of the Quest have been way better than they could have ever forecasted, like way better sales. And I'm sure that CCP Games, they're paying attention to things. They see it sell so incredibly well. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that have said, hey man, Spark and the Quest, that's like a marriage made in heaven. It's like a done deal. I mean, you think about Racket NX, you think about 11 table tennis. There's certain games that seem like an absolute no-brainer for the Quest, and Spark is one of those. And so what I think is going on here is I think all of this is related to Spark coming to the Quest, but what CCP Games is doing, they're wagging the dog. They are wagging the dog because they know there's a lot of like animosity. A lot of people are kind of pissed off at CCP Games for backing away from VR. So they're trying to change that narrative. And then maybe in late August, we find out, oh, guess what? Spark is coming to the Oculus Quest in the fourth quarter. Hip, hip, hooray. So that's what I think is actually happening here. Whether or not that really is the case, I'm not sure, but that's what I think is actually happening here. But yeah, they're saying they remain bullish on VR. Now, speaking of Spark, actually, let me quickly bounce. Actually, I don't want to do that. Let me open up a new thing right here, and let's go Spark and Steam. And let's go to the Steam page for Spark, because I just wanted to mention this for those of you out there that maybe don't know about this. Spark is having a free weekend right now, guys. It is having a free weekend. Play for free. Ends in 1 day and 21 hours. You could have been playing this yesterday, but guess what? You can play it all day today on Saturday. You can play it some on Sunday. You can get a feel for Spark on Steam. Unfortunately, not free right now on the Oculus store. So only on Steam is it a free weekend for Spark. And you can look at the reviews. Recent reviews, mostly positive. All reviews, very positive. And that's great in spite of the fact, like, they pissed a lot of people off. Because remember, Spark wasn't even on Steam when they basically said, we're out of here, we're dropping VR, it's all over, we're bouncing, we're getting out of VR altogether. That was before Spark came to Steam. It was on PlayStation VR. It hadn't come to Steam yet. And so when it came to Steam, a lot of people were like, F you, I'm not buying your game after you freaking abandoned VR and left us in the lurch like that. And so despite all of that, to have very positive and mostly positive on the reviews, that says a lot for how good Spark is. Also, if you want to buy Spark, 50% off. It is a 10 spot. I'd rather have it on Oculus Store because I'd love some cross-buy action. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if Spark is ever going to make its way to the Oculus Quest, but it is such a no-brainer. It absolutely has to happen. And then the last thing I want to say about Spark is I kind of want to try this at 144 hertz because I don't know, on the Valve Index, right? Excuse me. Because I've only found a couple of games that work at 144 hertz. And I don't know, Spark is so clinical. It's so, there's something about like the art design and everything where it might run butter smooth at 144 hertz. Maybe, I don't know if it would. But I'd like to try it at 144 hertz. I don't know, 144 hertz. I don't know if anybody in chat has tried this on their Valve Index in 144 hertz. I'd like to try it. I have not downloaded this yet. I kind of have a little bit of a problem, guys. I've got a hard drive problem. I need some more hard drives. I am playing musical chairs with all kinds of VR games in my library because I'm running out of hard drive space. I need more hard drive space. And so I've been hesitant to like download these free games and stuff like that. Although I got to imagine Spark is not like a gigantic game. But let's go ahead and check chat. Let's see what some folks are talking about. Okay, so Hussein X says, I need to jump back into Eve Valkyrie and finish the solo campaign at least on the Rift S. JB says, I just bought it yesterday. I wonder if he's talking about Spark. Reckoner VR is in chat. He says, I've received a prepaid label. Oh my God, you're sending your index controllers out? Dude, I don't know why, because, okay, you guys that are sending away your index controllers, you're not going to get back. I don't think they're changing the controllers. Like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I will admit that I might be wrong. But I do not believe that there are different versions of the index controllers. I think they're all the same batch, man. I think they all have the exact same manufacturer defect, which I think Valve is basically saying there is no manufacturer defect, that this is the way they're supposed to be. There's nothing wrong with them. And they're saying that because it would be a freaking unmitigated disaster if they were to do anything else. Like, they can't be honest about it because it would be an unmitigated disaster for them. I don't think there's other, like, I don't think they had a bad batch of controllers. Like, I don't think they had like, oh yeah, we had 5,000 controllers that were kind of screwed up, but the rest of them are all good. I don't think it's like that. I don't think there's going to be a fixed index controller until like March of next year. At that point, I think there will be a fixed index controller, and I don't think Valve is going to tell anybody. Like, I think it's going to be a silent kind of a thing where, like, in late February, somebody buys a Valve Index and they're like, yeah, my controller clicks absolutely perfectly. And then somebody realizes, oh, yeah, they did a silent change with the controllers. I don't think it's going to happen. Okay, so we've got Jeremy Fasola says at VR365, I don't know, just got my Index email, but if they have a problem with the controllers. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Max Grit is also sending his back. Oh, man, this is a real disaster. This is a real disaster for Valve. It really is. All these people that are sending back their controllers, like, Valve's got to deal. What are they? Here's what Valve is doing, right? Okay, they get the controllers back, then they take it out, they put it in a different box, put a stamp on it, send it back. It's been fixed. Here's your controller. It's been fixed. I don't think they're doing anything. Steve Drumheller says, is everyone sending them back just because they don't make the click sound? Seriously? Well, dude, Steve, are you telling me you're not OCD like the rest of us? If I don't hear that goddamn click sound, I am a pissed camper. So I got to be honest and say, in regards to the Valve Index right now, I'm going to switch back here. In regards to the Valve Index, I've yet to play a single game that does any kind of clicking with the controller. So I haven't actually encountered this problem yet. Like, I haven't discovered this problem myself personally yet. And so it just hasn't been a big deal. But even if I did have the problem, I don't think there's going to be any repair. See, here's what Valve should really do. They should come out with a statement and say, look, all of our controllers have a slight problem. We have to completely redesign and fabricate the controllers. That process is going to take months. We're going to, everybody send in your serial number. And then in February of 2019, we will contact you by email. It should be something like that. But they can't do that. They can't do that because that would open up an entire can of worms, because they would actually admit that there's some kind of problem. They don't want to do that. Yeah, Paradise Decay says at VR365, no click, no buy. Yep, no justice, no peace. No click on a goddamn thumbstick, no buy. Get the hell out of here with that. It's funny. This is funny. I like this. Valve, though, the thing that I like about this is Valve is getting their just desserts. They're getting their just desserts because, dude, they shipped out a controller that has a problem. It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate for them, but they shipped it out. No one put a gun to their head and forced them to ship that product out. They shipped it out. They've got to deal with this. But I don't think people that are sending your controllers back, I don't think you're going to actually get a fixed controller, but I don't know. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's interesting. So some people are, if it doesn't click, you must acquit. Yeah, there's Slay Blaze with the O.J. Simpson reference. Gotta love that. Okay, let's see. What else did we want to get into? Well, some people are talking about Defector in chat. Did I play Defector on Revive? Yes, I did. So I did play some Defector yesterday on Revive. Let me find a quick little Defector. Let me find a Defector trailer to throw up on the screen real quick, and I'll talk about this for a quick second here. Okay, so I did play Defector yesterday. First time I've ever used Revive in I don't know how many years. And so it's been a long time since I've used Revive, but I went ahead, I downloaded Revive, and it's kind of cool because when you open up Revive, it pops this thing up and it shows like all your Oculus games right there. Like, it basically has like a little menu system that you can use now. And like I saw Defector on there and I clicked on Defector and it loaded in on my headset and everything looked good. And honestly, Defector actually looks very good in the Valve Index. Like, I found it quite beautiful. one of the things I've determined about the Valve Index, glare is a real deal problem. It is. Glare is a bad thing on the Valve Index. But there's a lot of games where I don't notice the glare. Like I don't notice the glare. And so if you don't notice the glare, then it's not a big deal, right? And there's some games that look absolutely drop dead gorgeous on the Valve Index, and I'll be talking about that a little bit later in this show as well. But Defector looked good. It looked good. It played pretty well. Now, I'm just in the very early part of this game, and Defector's $20. And the one thing I'll say about Defector being $20 is you can see the production value in this thing. Like the actual character models and the things that are happening in the world and like some of the little special effects and stuff that they do, like that was the little area that I was in. I was walking around in this little area. I talked to that dude. He let me into that room. I talked to that guy. You know, I sat down and had dinner with him. And so I saw that lady right there. And this is kind of like the part where I was at pretty much. I didn't get to the part where I jumped out of the plane yet though. But basically, that was the section I was in. And all of the human characters, they looked good. They sounded good. The dialogue options worked out pretty well. I was like, I could see this being like a AAA kind of a game. Now, the way I understand it is it kind of falls off a cliff at a certain point. And basically, the first couple of levels are pretty good, and then it really kind of falls off. And it kind of was a troubled development. And I think Oculus just decided to wash their hands of the whole thing, and they decided to put it out there at $20 because they figure that way people won't be pissed off. But I think for your $20, like you could do so much worse, I think, than this for your $20 because there is legit production value that is going on. I got to turn my fan on because let me tell you, folks, it is supposed to be 100 degrees here in Sacramento, California, and this room is starting to heat up like a mofo. So I got to turn that fan back on. I got to turn this fan on. Let me put it down on the lowest setting, but it'll give me a little bit of air there. But yeah, honestly, I would say it's probably worth your $20 to go ahead and grab this. Because I think there is enough production values. I think you're going to run through the whole thing. And ultimately, this is not going to be one of your favorite VR games. It's not going to be in the top 50 favorite VR games that you have. But I think this is going to be a game that when you run through it, you play through the entire thing. I think you'll look back on it and be like, yeah, that was pretty solid. That was pretty solid for $20. It wasn't what I originally wanted from the game, but, for $20, pretty solid. I think that's what people are going to say about it. I know that some different people have said like they really love it, and some other people have said that they thought it was kind of lame. So you get some different views out there. Okay, so let's see what some people are talking about in chat. Still, a lot of people are talking about the clicking on the controllers, the Valve Index controllers. Onakaze. Okay, yeah. So this is interesting, guys. So Onakaze says, got the email stating I can order an Index if I want to. I'm holding off until the control. This is funny. Let's go to the Valve Index subreddit, actually, because this has been happening in a major way. And Nostradamus kind of predicted this. Nostradamus kind of predicted this. Didn't I say, I don't know how long ago this was, like weeks or months ago, I was talking about how I was on the second wave of ordering the Valve Index and all of that. But one of the things that I mentioned was, when they said like July 31st and then other people were like September and then blah, 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 blah. I kind of had a feeling that all of those dates would get pushed up because I had a feeling, nobody had to put cold hard cash down when they pre-ordered their Valve Index in the first damn place. And so there's a famous phrase that goes like this: money talks, bullshit walks. Money talks, bullshit walks. And so when it comes down to it, when you got to hit the buy button and it's like almost $1,100 with tax or shipping or whatever you're dealing with, when it's almost $1,100, money talks and bullshit walks. And so there were people that were on that first wave that when it finally got down to it and they were going to pay the money, they're like, damn it, I'm not going to buy this. And there were people in the second wave that did that, and people in the third wave. And so what's happening now is all the waves are moving ahead. And so all these people were thinking, oh, I've got months, I've got a month of time to relax and think about whether I really want this Valve Index or not, because now I'm finding out about glare, and I'm finding out about these controller problems, and I'm finding out about this, and I'm finding out about that. So now I'm a little bit hesitant. I'm a little bit gun shy, but now they're getting the emails, and they only have 7 days. And so it is put up or shut up time for a lot of people out there. And see, it is a problem, because you think about somebody like Steve Bishop, right? From VR Roundtable fame. You think about somebody like Steve Bishop. He is getting rid of his Valve Index, I believe. There's a number of people out there that are like, F it, I'm getting rid of my Valve Index. I thought about getting rid of my Valve Index. I mean, if I could take my Valve Index to Best Buy and not have to ship it, part of it is I don't even want to try to get everything back in the box. Getting every little piece back in the box, unscrewing everything, trying to find every little bit and bobble, trying to get it all back into the box, taking it to FedEx or something, trying to ship it back to Bellevue, Washington for $80 or whatever. F that noise. But if I could get it all together, if I could put it all in a grocery bag, if I could take it ghetto style to Best Buy and be like, I don't have a receipt, and here's all the pieces, and they're in a grocery bag, and it's scattered all over the Best Buy return counter. If Best Buy would give me back my $1,100, I probably would get it back. I probably would. But here's the problem with this idea, folks. Because you return it, you get your money back, you feel good for a second, but then now what? Because here's the thing. You're not, there's no other VR headsets that are imminent. This is the best VR headset that is out there. It's not as good as it should have been. It still has a couple of issues with it that freaking piss you the F off, and you're like, God damn, man, I spent $1,100 for this. This should freaking walk on water. But if you take it back, you're waiting for months and months. You don't, what are you going to do? You go back to your Rift S, and then you're going to be like, oh man, people are playing shit at 144 hertz. And, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't type of thing. So I'm holding on to my Valve Index. I'm holding on to it. And Reckoner VR, if you haven't sent your controllers off, dude, cancel that shit. I'm telling you, man. Don't do it. Don't do it because, well, I don't know. I mean, they'll just send you back the same controllers, I think. I don't think anything's going to happen. But yeah, that's a lot of the topics over here on the Valve Index subreddit is people saying, oh my God, I've got my date. Like this guy right here. This guy right here, perfect example. September 30th reservation date, but email sent today to purchase. Yeah, this is oh shit. Oh shit, now I've got to make a decision. This guy got caught off guard, and he's like, damn it, what do I do? So this guy says, should I dress up for when the index arrives? What music does it like? Favorite foods? I really want to make a good first impression. It took me about 30 seconds between me receiving the email and buying it. Oh, well, I guess this guy wasn't worried about it, so he bought it. See, I thought a lot of people were like, I'm worried because glare and controllers and all these issues. I don't know. Do I really want to do this? But now I have the option to do it. People really want this thing. I don't know. Should I do it? So that's a lot of stuff that is going on over there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back to our news here. Okay, so the next story I had is Twisted Pixel. So let's go ahead and go back to Upload VR. And I did see this story here about Twisted Pixel. Where is it? Yeah. Okay, so this was on the Oculus blog, actually. It was in the Oculus blog post. They had an FAQ with Defector game director Dan Bullock about kind of what is going on with Defector and all the different things that they did. And basically one of the questions was about potential upcoming games from Twisted Pixel. Will there be more VR games, stuff like that? And basically he replied and said, we're not prepared to announce anything, but we have more projects in the works that will continue to push the medium, Bullock wrote. It's exciting times for our studio, and we look forward to revealing more soon. And they basically said, we have more VR games on the way. Okay, my question is, who's funding these games? Is Oculus funding it? Because I don't know, man. I still feel like this was a development. Like the $20 price still does not make logical sense to me. And I really feel like Oculus was just kind of like, F it, man. Let's just cut this thing off. Let's just cut this thing off, ship it, package it, ship it, get it out. Let's call it a day. But I don't know, Twisted Pixel, they said that this is their third VR game. Twisted Pixel launched its third VR game. Can somebody explain to me what the second one was? Because all I know is Wilson's Heart. Wilson's Heart and Defector. What other VR game do they have? Can somebody explain that to me? Or was this just like a typo? Like, is this a typo? Did they mean to put second VR game, Defector? Because I know about Wilson's Heart and I know about Defector. I don't know about a third game. What other game are you talking about? They did, of course, Splosion Man and Loco Cycle. That was on like Xbox Live Arcade. I really liked Splosion Man. Loco Cycle was a dud. It was an absolute dud. But I guess they have more games coming. I just wonder if Oculus will be the publisher or if maybe Twisted Pixel will be independent this time and they can go to Steam or they can go wherever they want and have it everywhere. But apparently Twisted Pixel does have more games in development. I guess that's kind of a good thing, right? Okay, let's see. What else do we have in the news? Going back to Upload VR. Another thing that I saw in the news is that there is a brand new game that is on PlayStation VR called Rise of Insanity. And this is available right now. It's on PlayStation 4 right now. It is $13 on PlayStation 4. It's $10 on PC. Oh, I know. I wanted to look at the Steam page for this. Okay, so Rise of Insanity. Rise of Insanity. Okay, so here it is. This is the Steam page for Rise of Insanity. So yeah, this game has apparently come to PlayStation 4. It does have PSVR support, but it is a DualShock 4 game. So it's kind of more like a flat game that has a VR mode. So do not expect a lot of love from the VR side of things. But like looking at the trailer they're showing here, looking at some of these screenshots and stuff that they have, it looks kind of cool. Like, I like that. Like, look at those windows on that bathroom. I like the way that glass looks and the light is coming through. That looks kind of trippy and scary. I like that. Like, that looks cool to me. So, like, all of these screenshots, like, look at the shadows and stuff on the ground. I kind of like that. Looks kind of sweet. I like this as well. Like some of this stuff really looks nice. I wonder if this is a game that I somehow just forgot about this game somehow, and maybe I covered this one day on VR 365 or the VR Game Rankings YouTube channel back in the day, and I just kind of forgot about this because this released on March 1st, 2018. For some reason, I don't really remember it. Recent reviews are mixed, mostly positive. Actually got a lot of reviews, 444 reviews, but this was a flat game, remember. Red Limb Studio is a developer. And so this is on PlayStation VR right now. I have not heard anything about the PlayStation VR version of the game, but it is out there. It is available right about now. Okay, in some other news that we have, we can go ahead and go over to the Oculus store. And there are some daily deals. So reminder again, Sariento, Somebody Rento. It is available right now and it's almost over. You only got like one day. Sirento VR is ready to roll. It is free on your Oculus Rift for the weekend. You got one more day left in that, so get your Sariento on. So you can play Sariento VR for free on your Oculus Rift. You can also play Spark for free on Steam, and then the daily deal. This is a daily deal. It is Knockout League. It is $15. Normal price is $20. So you're talking about a 25% discount. You got a little over 11 hours left in this one. And I got to say, Knockout League is a blank spot for me. It is I missed out on this one. I have nothing, I have no thoughts on this other than that. I remember when I originally thought it, I was like, oh, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. This is basically Punch-Out, Nintendo. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, although they took Mike Tyson out of it way back in the days. But yeah, Knockout League VR is pretty much Mike Tyson's Punch-Out in VR. Grab Games is a developer. I remember when this game came out, I think on VR Roundtable, I believe Steve Bishop bought this game for like his personal account and played it. And I think he thought it was pretty good. So I think it's a pretty solid game. I think it has pretty good ratings. You can see 4 stars out of 5, 184 ratings. So people like Knockout League. Not a huge discount there, though, especially coming off all the sales that we've recently had over the last couple of weeks. But that is the daily deal. Okay, going back over to chat. Let's see what some folks are talking about here in chat. A lot of people are talking about headset issues, talking about Rift S, talking about Valve Index. A lot of people are talking about that stuff as well. And Onakaze says, kind of expected Fugel to be $10. Yeah, I would expect that as well. I would expect Fugel to be $10. Oh shit, Greg's VR says Knockout League is arcade trash. Ouch. That is harsh. That is very harsh. Is that an octopus wearing boxing gloves? Yes, it is. And Zayla Maru says Knockout League is most definitely VR Punch-Out. And Onakaze says the practice minigames are good too. EGS dudes. Yeah, Epic Game Store, brah. Epic Game Store. Everybody loves it. Okay, what other news did I have? Okay, well, why don't we talk about some Valve Index impressions real quick? That is something I can get into here for a brief minute. And let me go ahead and grab a trailer for a game that I tried on the Valve Index. And I tried Beat Saber. So here's the thing. One of the questions I've been asking people out there, especially like Valve Index veterans that have been trying all kinds of games on their Valve Index, especially if they have a 1080 Ti, because that's the boat that I'm in, right? And my question is basically Space Pirate Trainer at 144 hertz, freaking fantastic, incredible. I honestly think that if a lot of the people that are negative on the Valve Index, if the very first thing they played was Space Pirate Trainer at 144 hertz, they would probably still own their Valve Index right now, because I think they would come to a thought process where they'd be like, oh my God, certain games, the right game in the right situation just absolutely sings on the Valve Index at 144 hertz. But the big question I had basically is like, is there any other game? Like what other game can we put into this category? Okay, so we have Space Pirate Trainer. That's great. Now give me a couple more to work with. And I personally have not found any other games that run beautifully at 144 hertz. But a lot of people were telling me Beat Saber. Try Beat Saber. Beat Saber works at 144 hertz. Tested talked about that. And Tested had 1080 Ti's, I believe. And they played Beat Saber at 144 hertz. And I know MRTV tried Beat Saber at 144 hertz, and he was like dropping frames and stuff. So he was saying it was a no-go. So I kind of forgot about it. But I went ahead and tried it out. So yesterday I did play Beat Saber at 144 hertz. And the good news is I was not dropping very many frames. I wasn't going into like motion smoothing and all of that too much. It flowed pretty well. Here's the bad news. The bad news is it did not feel like Space Pirate Trainer. Space Pirate Trainer was like a religious experience, man. It just felt so good, and you're shooting your gun, and all the little bullets are coming out of your gun. The freaking drones are hovering all over the place, and you're moving your arms around, and you're shooting, and you're doing all this stuff, and it is just so smooth, so butter smooth. It works so great. And it does, like, that goes back to that idea that Norman Chan was talking about. At 144 hertz, it's like you're hyper aware. It's like you're on a couple Jolt Colas, or like you just drank like 5 cups of coffee and you got this like super caffeine buzz and you're like hyper aware. That's true. It is true for Space Pirate Trainer at 144 hertz. I did not feel the same way with Beat Saber. And then the really big Debbie Downer on the whole thing, I mean, it worked pretty good. There was nothing really wrong with it, but I just didn't get the same high that I did from Space Pirate Trainer. But the Debbie Downer, the colors seemed washed out to me, which is like, see these reds? Like, you're looking at this trailer right here. Look at the reds, look at the blues. The reds are very red. The blues are very blue. It's vibrant. It pops. It looks good. On the Valve Index, I felt like the colors were muted quite a bit. It was like somebody took the color dial and they just started turning it towards black and white. And I was like, what is wrong here? Where's the color? Which is weird to me, because what was one of the things that I said about the Valve Index? Like, one of the most surprising things that I saw of the Valve Index was vibrancy, a color vibrancy. But for some reason on Beat Saber, I didn't see the vibrancy. So overall, I gotta say that I cannot put Beat Saber right next to Space Pirate Trainer as another one of these religious experiences on the Valve Index. I don't think it is. Maybe I need a 2080 Ti or something. I don't know. But that was my personal opinion on that. Okay, now, do you want to talk about a religious experience, though? Because I do have a religious experience. I absolutely do. I had a religious experience last night. In my Valve Index, I had goosebumps running down my arms. I didn't cry, but I was close. I was close to crying. Let me see if I can find this trailer. I think some of you guys probably already know what I'm talking about here because I did a tweet about this earlier. But dude, let me tell you, Audica on the Valve Index is a marriage made in heaven. Oh my God. Okay, so right now there are 3 games on the Valve Index that they should be in the box. These games should be in the box with the Valve Index. These games should be included with the Valve Index. Jet Island, Space Pirate Trainer, and Audica. Because these games, when I'm playing these games in a Valve Index, I feel like I have VR 2.0. I really do. And so, Audica. So when I first got my Valve Index, I tried to get into Audica a number of different times. And for some reason, the game was never loading. It wouldn't work. And so I forgot about it. And so for like the first several days or whatever I had the Valve Index, I had not tried Audica. And so I'm trying all these other different games, and I'm trying this game out, and I'm trying that game out, and I'm checking out all this different stuff. And then I thought, wait a minute, let me try Audica again. I went into Audica, and when it first loaded up, oh my God, I was like, what? Look at this Tron world. It looks so good. It looks so good because the FOV, see the vertical FOV, Jet Island and Audica both take major advantage of that vertical FOV. You kind of, like in a lot of other games, you're probably not going to get much from that. But Jet Island and Audica, you get some extra out of that vertical FOV. But it wasn't just that. It was just everything just looks so clean and so crisp. And oh my God, the friggin' audio. Valve, like, much love I mean, I cannot tell you guys how good those floating speakers are. This is a crowning achievement in the world of virtual reality and augmented reality, and basically any kind of head-mounted thing that is ever going to use speakers. This is the way forward. This is the way forward, ladies and gentlemen. The audio was incredible. I got lost in the experience. I was like doing stuff. I was going, I was doing all the shooting and everything, and I felt like I was just like I'm in this Tron world. It looked so good. It felt so good. I didn't notice any glare whatsoever. It's kind of weird how different games seem to accentuate the glare, and then other games, you don't notice the glare. Like, it's pretty weird to me because Audica is not a bright game. Like, Audica is a relatively dark game. But I gotta tell you, just the environments and everything, the little particle effects, all of it just looked absolutely drop dead gorgeous in the Valve Index. And then the other thing I'm going to tell you guys, Game of the Year. This is my Game of the Year, period, dot. Right now, there is no game that I've played in 2019 that can touch this game. Audica is Game of the Year, and it's not open for discussion. If you don't believe this is Game of the Year, you simply haven't played it long enough, or you just suck or something, because this game is ridiculous, man. They freaking killed it. Harmonix, much love. Beat Saber ain't got nothing on this game. Audica kills Beat Saber, but people just don't know it. Man, but I'm off on my own island. I know I'm a rare bird. Like if Roots was here, if I Am Roots was in chat, I Am Roots would be like, yep, preach on, brother, preach on. Amen, amen, amen. But a lot of people don't know, man. A lot of people don't realize this kills Beat Saber. It shits all over Beat Saber. I hate to say it, but it does. It is so much better. It's so much more exciting. And you're in a Tron world. You're really in a Tron world. And the Valve Index, beautiful, drop dead gorgeous. It's one of these things. It was like I was saying with the Oculus Quest. What I was saying with the Oculus Quest is if I put somebody in an Oculus Quest and I gave them 5 very specific Oculus Quest games to play in order, especially like a former Vive person that had a Vive in like 2016 and 2017, they would be blown away by the Oculus Quest if they played a very specific playlist of games. And I feel the same way about the Valve Index and Jet Island, Audica, and Space Pirate Trainer at 144 Hertz. These 3 games make the Valve Index sing. They make the Valve Index sing. That's my opinion. Yeah, I might be pissing a lot of people off right now. I know some people. Anthony is a strange bird. I'm a strange bird. The year isn't over. Yeah, I mean, it's my Game of the Year right now. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. There's no discussing it. No, it's done. There's no discussion. Beat Saber has Imagine Dragons. Imagine this, motherfucker. No, yeah. I love Audica. I'm sorry. I love it. It is so good. And I think most of the people that don't like it didn't spend enough time with it. So because you gotta be kind of good at this. Like, you cannot be shit at this and enjoy it. You gotta be good at it, and there's a learning curve. You're not gonna learn this in like 30 minutes. It's going to take a while to get the feel for this game, but we don't need to spend this much time on Audica. That's way too much time on Audica. Okay, so what is the next story of the day? So, sorry guys, I got a little hyped up on the Audica thing. But yeah, man, dude, that was a religious experience. That was the kind of experience I was dreaming about when I thought about the Valve Index. That's kind of what I was dreaming about. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's bounce over here to our webinar. And in the news is Vertigo 2. And I think you guys saw that. Where is it? Vertigo 2 has a demo on Steam this Tuesday. This Tuesday. See right here, download demo. I wonder if I can download it right now. But yeah, this is Vertigo 2. Do you guys remember the original Vertigo by Zulubu Productions? This was a guy, like 17-year-old kid, A 17-year-old kid basically made the original Vertigo. Now dude's like 20 years old or something like that. And he's working on Vertigo 2. There is a demo for the original Vertigo that you can check out. And the original Vertigo is $15. But there is going to be a demo. See right here, Vertigo 2 demo. And this is dropping on Tuesday. So that's going to be exciting to check out that demo on Tuesday. And it should take full and total advantage of Valve Index controllers, and all of that should probably look pretty good in a Valve Index. You know, that's going to be an interesting thing to wonder. Developers that have had Valve Indexes during their development, will their games feature a lot less glare than the average miscellaneous game out there? Because they're going to have the headset. You know, they're going to have the headset, and if they notice a ridiculous amount of glare as they're testing it, they might be like, what can we do? What can we do with like the backgrounds and stuff to mitigate this glare a little bit? But yeah, that's exciting. Vertigo 2 demo is coming Tuesday. Unfortunately, though, Vertigo 2 is a 2020 game. So it is going to be a while before we see Vertigo 2. But Tuesday, a demo. Okay, oh, you know what we've got, guys? So if we bounce over to Road to VR, so let's go to Road to VR. And Road to VR has this story right here. They have an exclusive. They have 35 minutes of Until You Fall, groundbreaking melee combat gameplay. And so what I did is I went ahead and grabbed this video. Is it 35 minutes? Yeah. So I grabbed this video. It's 35 minutes. Obviously, I'm not going to run a 35-minute video. I snipped it down to about 2 minutes. That kind of gives us a little bit of a feel for the combat, the melee-based combat of Until You Fall, which this game is coming, I believe, August 27th. So a lot of these games, man, are just around the corner. That's exciting to me that there are some really nice games that are not very far away. Until You Fall is coming on August 27th. It's going into early access. And yeah, I'm a fan. I love the art style of this game. I think it's drop dead gorgeous. So what I'm going to do over here is we're going to go ahead and pump this puppy up, and we're going to check this baby out. We'll check out a little bit of footage of Until You Fall. I have some concerns about it, though. So as soon as the footage is done, we'll talk a little bit about some of my concerns for the game. But I'm going to go ahead and pump up this Audica trailer. Alrighty, so that is Until You Fall. I grabbed basically about 2 minutes of footage from that 35-minute, just to kind of give you guys a quick little idea of what the game looks like, what it sounds like, the melee-based, sword-based combat that you have in this game, and also the incredible visuals. Like, I love... Okay, and then also, you see this part, so he's like sucking up this energy, and then there's the shard of guile, an ether fragment, da-da-da, this, that. And so you kind of have this like power-up thing that you can do. You can see that, you know, there's different little indicators and stuff. So you're like powering up your swords, your shields. I love the visuals. I absolutely love the visuals. My concern with this game is, okay, so you've got a bunch of guys that are just standing around. You know, they're just standing around and waiting. So it's like, okay, you're battling clones. Like, look, that guy's turned around looking in the other direction. You got about 7 guys that are just standing around. So I don't know, they're just kind of, you know, they're going through their little motion, and they're just kind of sitting there and waiting. My worry with this game is it going to get really boring really quickly? Now, it's possible, though, that in the actual gameplay, like when you're actually playing it yourself, that there is a lot of subtlety to how you play the game. There's a lot of depth to it, possibly. Like when you're actually playing it, when you're blocking their shots, when you're trying to get in and get your shots, the different things that you're doing to power up your sword or your shields or your armor or whatever it is. So I don't know. I mean, I love the visuals. I love the sound. My worry is, will this get really old really quick? That's my number one worry about this. The other thing is like when you read any of the stories, if you read any of the stories about Until You Fall, the Shell Games basically says, like one of the things they keep talking about is they'll mention that we're starting this game out. Like they keep saying that. Like I can't find a quote right now, but they'll say something like, Until You Fall is going to begin in early access. You know, they're basically saying like the game is still in development is what they're kind of saying. But it's going to come out on August 27th. But it sounds like it's going to be early access. It's not going to be a finalized deal. And so they're going to still work on it. So it's not necessarily going to be this incredibly polished 100% dialed thing. It looks beautiful, looks great. Like all the menus, all the UI, like all of that looks good. The sound looks good. I love it. I'm a sucker for color. See, I love vibrant, colorful type stuff. And so this is my type of thing here. I also like melee combat. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Primordian in certain ways. Like I wonder what Jay from Stonepunk Studios thinks about this game. Like I wonder if he thinks, they must have played a little bit of Primordian, because it does look a little Primordian-ish. But yeah, so in this story here on Upload VR, Ben Lang, this story that just came out on Upload VR, it says, the combat in Until You Fall, not just the way you block and attack, but also the weapon types, stats, and abilities, really does deliver an intense, real-time combat experience that hasn't been seen before with VR. It's a framework so good that I wouldn't be surprised if similar mechanics become a staple of VR melee combat for years to come. Indeed, while the game is still only in pre-alpha, the foundation that Shell Games has built feels ripe for expansion by introducing new enemies, weapons, and abilities. Yeah, the one thing they really need is they do need new enemies, because so far, I think in this whole entire video that we've seen, like there's 35 minutes of this, and I just grabbed 2 minutes of it. But basically the entire 35 minutes is these got the same enemy type pretty much running around, and you're slashing and hacking and slashing. And then there's like 7 or 8 of them that are standing around, and you kind of fight them one at a time. And so I don't know. I'm still excited for this. I'm still hyped for this, but I'm cautiously optimistic. So let's go ahead and bounce back to chat and see what some folks are talking about here. Colton Franco says, I wish Skyrim VR had that kind of responsiveness. Of course, we have to remember Skyrim VR was not built with VR in mind, and this is built absolutely with VR in mind. And Shell Games, like their number one thought process with this game was melee combat. They wanted to make a game that felt good with melee combat, which is something that is sorely lacking in VR. We don't have a perfect melee combat game in VR. R. Gambo says, Until You Fall is still alpha. Paradise Decay says, movement style is like Sariento. DJ Jello Official says, in my opinion, sword games are just no, because you don't have any feedback or resistance. But if the rumble's pretty good, sometimes when you're like, bam, 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 and when the rumble, if the rumble is timed right, it can feel pretty good. But yeah, I mean, you're not going to have that real resistance. The only way you're ever going to get real resistance, does anybody remember there was a video? Somebody made a video where it's like a robot. There's like a physical robot that is actually using a real like sword. I mean, it's not like a slicing sword, but it's like a physical robot. And the guy was like, bam, 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 bam. So it's like a machine. Like, could you imagine if you went to Dave & Buster's and Dave & Buster's has an Until You Fall game, and there's actually like a thing that has a torso, and it's like zzz, 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 and it has a sword and it has a shield, and you're like fighting it. So, you know, yeah, that's the problem. You're never going to have that real resistance until you have something like that, until you have a robot that you can work with. Zenovator says, is that Japanese blood? Reckoner VR says, those almost silhouette kind of characters with stark neon bright patches remind me of Primordian. Yeah, I mean, you definitely get a Primordian feel looking at this game. Reckoner VR says, does look a little repetitive from this video. Yeah, that's my biggest worry. But the thing that we don't know from a video, like, we don't know how it feels, you know, so the person that's actually playing this, they might feel like they're really doing some intricate combat and they're having an intricate battle, and they know about their shield and they know how their shield is wearing down or the power of their sword. And, you know, I mean, there's probably things that are going on that we don't know. So I think we've got to be careful about like saying it's a dud. I mean, I think it looks really good. And so a lot of people are talking about 144 hertz. Paolo Triani says, when you have 144 hertz to play with, it becomes very clear how unoptimized VR games are. I have a 2080 Ti and a 9900K. Not a lot runs smooth at 144 hertz. Yeah, that is a disappointment. And you know what I was wondering? A lot of people, R. Gambo says Kartcraft looks like it would be awesome at 144 hertz. But and Greg's VR says 144 hertz is officially experimental. Remember, it's experimental. We got to remember this. But you know what I was thinking? I was wondering, could developers have a mode? Like, could they have a mode that they call 144 hertz mode or something, like a 144 hertz friendly mode? So you can go into the options, you select the 144 hertz mode, and what it does is it turns off certain shaders and it turns off certain shadows or certain lighting effects, which like dramatically bumps up the performance of the game, but it kind of waters it down a little bit. But it allows you to play some stuff that maybe would be butter smooth at 144 hertz. And that might be something that we could look forward to in the longer distant future. You know, a game like Vertigo 2, for example, like somebody that is building a game along with the Valve Index, maybe Zulubu Productions, you know, maybe they'll have a mode, 144 hertz mode. Or like Cloudhead Games, they're making games, they've had Valve Index in-house. Maybe some of these people could offer up a 144 hertz special mode that dials back a couple of performance things that maybe hog a lot of the power, that can get your frame rate up. And I don't know, it's a possibility. So anyways, yeah, some people are talking about that. A lot of people are talking about 144 hertz. So far, when I've tried stuff at 144 hertz, I haven't seen any of the screen tearing. Has anybody ever seen like the screen tearing and stuff? Because wasn't that the big thing? Like, yeah, you can go ahead and play it at 144 hertz, but it's not, there might be screen tearing, there might be some problems, whatever. I haven't seen any screen tearing or anything so far, so it's been good from that standpoint. Okay, so the last story I got for you guys before we go ahead and bounce out of here for the day is, let's see, I want to go back to the webinar. So let's go back over to our Webby. And so here we are over here. And I wanted to talk to you guys really quick about a YouTube video that I saw a little bit of it. And it's an interesting video. It goes really negative about, it's kind of like about our long-term future with VR. And basically, like, is this the end of humanity as we know it? Is VR the end of humanity? Pretty much is what this video is all about. And it kind of makes the argument that VR is basically the end of humanity. And so what video am I talking about? This video over here. So it's called VR, skip trial. Okay, VR, Humanity's Next Addiction. Now, this video was made by Pursuit of Wonder. This was published back on July 1st. They've got a gang of subscribers. This short story is completely fictional and is not intended to be educational on the technology or industry of VR. Furthermore, it is perhaps not even really about virtual reality in a specific sense, but rather what VR suggests about us. So anyway, this is a really, really interesting video, guys. You might want to check this video out on your leisure when you got some time. It runs about 15 minutes. But here's what I did. I grabbed like a minute and a half of this video to give you guys this idea of basically how negative things can go when you think about, like, I honestly think that this is probably not too far off the mark. Like, VR could be the end of humanity as we know it. But see, here's the thing. We're in the early days of VR, and it's beautiful right now. Like, this is a beautiful thing. Now, it's 200 years from now where it all goes down the crapper, but right now it's beautiful. It's going to be even more beautiful about 15 years from now. But 200 years from now, it could be a complete and utter disaster because basically humanity as we know it is freaking just living in a freaking virtual world, not doing shit, fat as hell. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, right? But anyways, so I grabbed a little clip of this and I thought I would show you guys this clip. So let's go ahead and check this out. It's like a little over a minute. Let's go ahead and check this clip out. I think you'll be interested by it. So I'm going to go ahead and bounce back over here. I'm going to pump up the volume on this Until You Fall demo. And I'm going to give you guys a quick little clip on humanity's next addiction, VR, the downfall of the human race as we know it. Okay, let me go ahead and grab this.
In the year 2122, Replica releases a product that allows individuals to undergo a simple procedure which modifies the retina in the human eye, connects it to the Replica data cloud, and allows the human eye to function just like the lens devices of the past. It requires some control from a pocket-sized remote device, but otherwise requires no physical hardware or wearable technology. Not long after its release, infants are given this procedure almost unanimously within 48 to 72 hours of birth. Completely out of their own control, somehow born into this time of history in which they are swallowed whole by technology with no choice but to engage or completely opt out of society. Reality and virtual reality essentially merge and become indiscernible from one another. As the world delves deeper and deeper into the virtual dimension, the human brain loses more and more of its orientation and ability to properly form a singular sense of self. People can just reverse the procedure if they want, but they don't. Anxiety and alienation increases rapidly, and there is even more demand for higher levels of entertainment and virtual immersion to help distract people from their growing problems. The demand is filled as more and more money is thrown at it. Globally, people become sick, mentally disoriented, and suicidal. People can virtually go anywhere and do anything, yet they feel lost. People can see and know anything in an instant, yet they feel numb and brain dead. People can be friends with millions of other people from all over the world, yet they feel isolated and lose track of who their real friends are. In the year 2122, Replica releases a product that allows individuals to undergo a simple procedure which modifies...
Okay, so yeah, that is just a quick little clip from that video. This is VR Humanity's Next Edition. And you know, when it first starts out, it's like 2017, and this person has like some kind of problem, and he's like getting some kind of medical treatment. And then he talks to this doctor, and it's all this like wireframe thing. And so he talks to this doctor, and this doctor's like, yeah, you know, we have this new experimental thing where we're using VR. You're still going to feel the pain, but it's going to distract you from your pain. And so it goes through all these different eras. You know, it's going through like, in this year, this happened. And in 2050, you know, this happens. And in 2017, this happens. And then people stop doing But you know what? Honestly, I'm telling you, like, watch this entire video, unless it just pisses you off too much. Watch the whole thing. It's kind of interesting. It's mildly interesting. And what they talk about in this video is mildly plausible. Like I really do believe, like, straight up, no joke, like I really do believe that VR is the freaking downfall of the human race. Like, because I mean, I kind of like the whole Fermi paradox thing, you know, I kind of believe that is what happens to civilizations, that once they're able to create their own reality, they don't give an F anymore. They create their own reality, and then it's like we're just in these fake realities. And of course, Paradise Decay in chat was like, dude, what are we worrying about? We're already in VR, dude. Yeah, Paradise Decay says, what's their problem, brah? We're already in VR. And that's possible as well. That is actually very, very possible. Like, imagine the second you die, you're like in some other place and it's like game over, and like, dude, you had an awesome game, man. You were running in that game for 75 years, dude. You did such a great job. You know, wasn't that an episode, like a Rick and Morty episode or something like that? So yeah, but anyway, it's not really considered an addiction because everybody is doing it. But nonetheless, David is not in control. And so anyway, it's a pretty cool video. Like, I think it's pretty decent. I mean, it's definitely a very depressing look at where this is all going. And the truth of the matter is, it's so far, like, this kind of depressing future that they're talking about is so far away that there's no need to like worry about this at all. I mean, this is so far away. It's not even in our children's future, but it might be like 200 years away. But it is a bit scary. It really, because you imagine if you could go 200 years into, like, if you had a time machine right now that could take you 200 years into the future, and so you go 200 years into the future, and then you're here on planet Earth, and you're walking around, and you're like, nobody's here. Where is everybody? Nobody's here. And you find like these cities, but they're like all abandoned. This should be an actual movie, actually. I should write a freaking script for this. So yeah, you go 200 years in the future. There's nobody anywhere. You go to these cities. They're advanced. You see these advanced cities, but you realize that at a certain point, everybody just left. And then, like, you're going all over trying to find something, and you find like these relics of stuff. And then you realize that there's these like underground worlds that people are living in, where they're just like locked in a chamber, and they're just sitting in a chair. They're just like that, you know, they're just kind of they got all these wires connected to them that's just like taking away their bodily waste and giving them like bodily nutrients, and they're just like you know. So yeah, it's a new movie, bro. It's a new movie, man. Like, I should write the script for this movie. I think it'd be awesome, bro. Okay, so anyways, that's pretty much it. I will go ahead and check on some people's comments before I bounce out of here. So let me go ahead and find my outro little logo thingamajiggy. And it's almost lunchtime for me. And I got to tell you, man, I am excited about eating some good lunch here in a minute. Okay, so Paradise Decay says the Fermi paradox proves simulation theory. Kind of, maybe, I don't know. Sloth Monkey says VR basically means surrogates. F Frank says, if I can make it impossible to lose my keys in the Matrix, it will be worth it. Yeah, I think you will be able to do that. I think you will be able to do that. So it's probably going to be worth it for you, bro. Gaming Science Teacher says that's already true about having no choice to buy in. People say, I don't want Facebook, Google invading my privacy. Yeah, well then go live in the forest in a cabin, because pretty much, yeah, that is the only other option. Like, you can get off the grid. You really can get off the grid. Good luck with that. Okay, Conrad Hyde keeps on talking about the freaking thumbstick on the knuckles. So, Conrad, I'm going to answer you. I don't know, man. Okay, so here's my answer. My answer is, so far I have not encountered that problem with the thumbstick on the knuckles. I have not played a game where I'm like, damn it, I can't do this. I have not played a game that does that yet. So I haven't had that problem yet. Yeah, Anthony Spielberg, exactly. I'm telling you, bro, where's Steven Spielberg when I need him? Because I'm telling you, that would be a cool movie idea. Like, you go to this Earth, no one's around. It's like a modernized Earth, but obviously everybody left, and then they're underground. I gotta do it a little bit more. There's got to be like some alien creature that's involved as well. There's got to be some extra stuff going on. Let's see, Surrogates movie. Yeah, I never saw that movie. That was Bruce Willis, right? Thornton Art Studio says earlier topic, but just wanted to mention that Beat Saber was made on OLED. It could be made to have much better color on LCD, which would oversaturate OLED. We just need color options now. That's actually a pretty darn good point, because the whole thing, I kind of noticed the LCD, like, I haven't noticed the blacks being gray on too many games. I think Beat Saber is the closest I saw to that. Where Beat Saber, because like the whole background of Beat Saber did seem a little grayish, and just all of the colors were muted. They weren't bright. A Dog and His Boy. Yeah, dude, our Gambo knows what's up. A Dog and His Boy, that was an awesome movie. Yeah, that's where I kind of get the underground. And remember that weird ass society that they had underground where everybody had like painted faces and shit, and they like had clown faces, and they got what's his name, to basically be the next surrogate father for everybody there. That was a weird movie. A Dog and His Boy was a weird movie and an underrated movie. They need to remake that movie. Like, completely remake A Dog and His Boy, or A Boy and His Dog. A Boy and His Dog, I think is what it's called, actually. VR Prawn. I worry for civilization. People becoming lonely, less procreation. Yeah, Hussein X, I cannot disagree with you, man. I'm telling you, like right now, everything's fine right now. It's good right now. And in 15 years, it's going to be even better. But 200 years from now that's where it gets scary. Like, I don't know what we're going to be doing 200 years from now, because reality in VR is going to be so much more entertaining and enjoyable than real reality. Like, no one's going to want to spend any time in real reality. When you can go to this fake reality and everything, like colors are like hyper vibrant, like, it's better than real life, man. That was what that episode was all about. The episode of Black Mirror. What was it called? Fighting Vipers or whatever? That's what that episode was all about, because everything, like when you were in that little Street Fighter game, everything is hyper colorful, hyper bright, hyper real. Like, you'd want to stay there, man. You wouldn't want to come back to regular craptacular reality. It'd be boring. You'd want to stay there. All right. Oh, yeah. And person says, what's wrong with less procreation? There's already... Yeah, this is going to solve our overpopulation problem. Maybe Zuck... Okay, so here's the deal, guys. Zuck was at the Bilderberg meeting 5 years ago where they decided VR is the key to our overpopulation problem. Let's give everybody VR, hyper-realistic porn. Nobody's going to procreate anymore because they're going to have so much fun in their virtual worlds. They're not going to give a damn. We're gonna lower our overpopulation problem. We're gonna reduce the population by 50%, and then we're gonna do like a freaking what do they call those attacks that kill all electronics? We're gonna do one of those attacks, which will knock everybody out of VR. We're gonna chop the population in half. Yeah, Bilderberg, Zuck, it all happened. That's exactly what happened, guys. All right, well, anyway, that's going to go ahead and do it for this crazy, weird episode of VR 365. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe, like the video. Those kinds of things definitely help. We are on Twitch as well, guys. In fact, tomorrow's episode is on Twitch, twitching it up like a mofo. And if you have a Prime Twitch sub and you want to throw it VR 365 way, I am not hating on you at all. I am not hating on you at all. So absolutely throw your Prime sub VR 365 way over there on Twitch. We'll be twitching it up tomorrow at about 11:30 a.m. 11:30 a.m. Pacific time on Twitch tomorrow. I'll see everybody there. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Remember, we've got free games to play, guys. Spark is free today. Sarmiento VR and Oculus is free today. We've got the Vertigo 2 demo coming on Tuesday. There's some pretty good sales that are going on as well on a few different games here and there. Lots of great stuff to play. If you've got a Valve Index, you're trying different games out, you're frustrated by the glare in the controller, maybe you're sending your controllers back, maybe you're eBaying the entire thing. It's all possible. But anyways, I will be back tomorrow. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Everybody have a good one. Take it easy. Where's my outro button? All right, here we go. Later.